Mr. Chairman, sir, for allowing me to participate in this special motion.
Haka arnyo tarik unailar arhaja arpusau. MLA jong ka Shella Constituency ba Balajiedkupar Synrem. Ula ajing Kren haka session jong ka darbar Synrai da ka ba ilaong. Baha ba Kren syapang ka jing bam yo kam yo jam on employment. Jong ki khun samla. Kabalong ka daw ba haka ba ki khun samla ki penpau ya ka jing dom jing bitar Persia ya ka sorkar. Banwang ya kita kijing MLA ka Shella Constituency ba Balajiedkupar Synrem ula ajing mut badai ban thau ya ki polisi trekam. Ban khot ngubha ya ki company ban wan sengkam sengjam ha ka jilla jongi. Ha ka ju kapor ban thau ki polisi ki babyang. Ki ban pilat ya ki khol samla ban yo kam hakum kini ki company kum ha ka health insurance ni kita ki welfare fund ki bahap hapo ka private sector. Bat sakawi ka jing ajing mut bau ni MLA ulah kedau ha ka bidai bat ka jing kentiu ya ka jaka khapbut kham tam bat kari Bangladesh ha ka ba shipau haduk harartli ki constituency ki bahap ha kini ki khapbut ulah ajing mut badai ban shna ya ki lat khai bat ki yo ni kita ki border han uni MLA ulah kedau ru ya ki jing juki pai ba ha ka bidai bat commission program bela pentre kam da sarkar leng ba ki blok ha ka ba don kam ban ajing tip ha leng ba ki awareness program ha ki shnong namar bun ki pai ba kim tip ha syapang kani ha ka wi ga benta ba belajit ul hero ru ya sarkar ka blerap ya ki nong rep so saw na ka shnong like and so bat nongwar ha ka constituency jong u ha ka ba la plie ya kini kinong rep banthung ya uni so saw bat bandi ha yo jong ka jella ula kadau ru ya ka jingrap ha ka bedei bat uso nyamtra ula kerpa ru ya ka sokar ban sim kilat klenti banyarap ya kinong rep ki basyam jing na ka daw ki jing bam kenyang jong ki dingso bat ki jing thung ki bala bandei na ka jingkela kamariang shushu ula keren ru syapang ka Prime Minister Employment Generation Program PMEGP kalong ka badon kambahan rei ka don ka jing hangne namar ba ka don ka jing dei direct bat ki bank bat don ki por ba ka bank ka penne ya ka school tikini ki ba apply ya ka ni ka scheme kimyo ya ka ka ba ki don kam te ka comment ka ha ban pej benia ha ka be dei bat ka ni ka benta bat bun ki wei pat ki benta ki ba UMLA ulah keren ha ka ni ka session da ka ba ula ong
Special motion raised by Balajiedkupar. This House do now discuss the gravity of unemployment scenario. So when you talk about unemployment, we get the conception that our state is not providing enough for the citizens. But I tell you, sir, employment in any situation, it brings about a socio-economic balance which any state seeks to attain. Now we've heard the opinions of the respected MLAs who have given the feedbacks on how we can go about to see that our youths of a state is well taken care of. And I'll just state a few things since it's positive because of paucity of time. See, when you talk about employment, basically what the public needs is the necessity to maintain and earn money on a daily basis. And unemployment is one of the root cause which we have seen in the past couple of years, couple of months. It brings about anger and animosity towards the government. So how do we go about tackling such issues? Now, we can say 15 years ago, the employment situation in that particular point of time has changed dramatically in this current age. As stated by the members, with the advancement of technology, the required means to pursue employment has changed. So now, some of the government initiatives which I'd like to address on how to bring about this particular situation. But first, I'll just be frank. See, when you talk about government service, now employment in government service does not bring about the major economy of a state, it's usually the private sector. And as a government, we should devise a policy wherein we invite people from our companies to invest in our state. But at the same time, we put in some policies wherein people of our state getting employed in these institutions or entities are well taken care of. Be it health insurance or be it welfare funds which the employees can receive. Now that's private sector. And now we go about in state government wise. As stated by Barumboy, see, I think around 10 to 12 constituencies in our state falls in the border area with Bangladesh. So to promote economic trade, we should set up more trade routes and as well as border huts. That will satisfy the needs of the border areas in our state. Now when you come about in the central part of the state, especially, we've seen the government taking care of our youths via these mission programs. I'm really appreciative of the government. For the last 5 or 6 years, they've brought these mission programs wherein people can avail these particular schemes wherein they can fulfill their economic needs. Now the problem is when you go in different blocks and each villages, I'm sure, sir, most of the people, they are not aware of these mission programs. So my suggestion is that the government should ensure that through different blocks in our state that awareness is taken care of and people are aware of these particular schemes. Now we come about this PMEGP, which everyone has been talking about. I've stated now and again, this scheme is important, the Pradhan Mantri Employment Generation Program. But sir, we find a small problem here because it deals directly with the bank. And sometimes because the banks has to maintain some score, so most of the applicants who applied these schemes, they are not getting the necessary requirements. So this also creates a hurdle and people will come to us and say, I've applied this particular scheme, can you kindly help me? But this is the issue with the bank. So our government should make sure that to take up with the required banks who are in this process. Now, regards to the local issue which is burning for the last couple of days, there's a mining issue. See, I've stated that, yeah, we understand. This constitution embarks upon the division between the state and the union list. Yes, though we cannot make such laws, yeah, but we have made a rule in 2016, MMCR, wherein it has allowed the local people of our state to explore the means to get the livelihood. But see, sir, there's one problem here with this particular rule. Now we've asked for a solution to bring about a quarry permit. See what has happened, a person who applies for quarry permit has to undergo the same time and expenditure as the one applying the lease. So what's the problem here? It takes longer time and it's expensive. And the people can only mine as per the capacity which they have applied. So my suggestion, it's a rule. We can always do something from our side. Why not explore the possibility of seeing that we embark on this traditional concept of mining? That is my concern here. Because especially in the system which we have in our state, for generations, if a mine has been given to one particular person, with time, parents will give to their children, children will give to their grandchildren, the mine becomes smaller and smaller. So how about we ease that by going with this traditional mining, wherein will not allow them to use mechanical machinery, but by the labor force itself. So that ways people can work in the capacity and they can earn in however way which they can go on. And just to be appreciative of the government, I'm very thankful, and especially when it comes to my constituency. Recently, the government has taken up the one program where it has helped the farmers who are raising these tomatoes in like Kanso or Nowar, and people there are getting the opportunity to they gain the opportunity to farm these tomatoes and market it in a state and outside the state. And especially even the orange trade, I'm appreciative. But I should say, sir, with time, I think with global warming, should say, most of these fruits, they're getting affected with some disease now and then. So it's making the farmers difficult. So how do we ease about to help the farmers? I think the government has done its part. But if initiatives are taken at a faster rate, it will help the farmers, especially who are dependent on these fruits. And one more thing, sir. Now with the laborers in our state, see, we've seen recently the commotion and discussion on the Interstate Migrant Workmen Act 1979. Now, if we explore the possibility of that particular act, I think it gives chance to our youths who are in the labor force to avail different jobs capable of what they are doing. So I think the government can also explore. And lastly, sir, because this one point which I've raised in my special motion, regarding this government jobs on the civil service exams. Now this is one crucial thing out here. Because, yes, though we say government jobs doesn't run the economy of a state, but it's a necessity for them to administer the administration services. Now, time and again, we get these advertisements on different examinations conducted by MPSC. What happens is the advertisement sometimes it's issued this year. And by the time the call letter comes to the candidates, it goes around 4 or 5 years. So many of our friends who have applied certain posts, sometimes they forget what posts they've applied. Because vacancies come, 4 or 5 vacancies at a time in different departments. So my suggestion is, if we're going to help our youths, especially when it comes to civil service examinations, we should make sure that any advertisement which is released 1 year prior, the students who applied, they have the capacity and the thinking that the exams will be the following year. Because it happened to me as well. In 2016, I applied for one post. I'll tell you, sir, the call letter came after I became MLA. So that's the situation which many of our youths are facing. So if the government can also see to this, to help ease out the pattern, I think it will be feasible to everyone who are seeking services in the state. So I think so with the paucity of time, thank you so much for allowing me to participate. With these few words, I resume my seat. Thank you, sir.